boy named V suddenly gets sucked into a portal that takes him thousands of years back in time to a small village called Remive. Immediately he arrives, he becomes the target of a rival leader named Ondako, who believes he has the ability to unlock the powers of a special stone. As he then gets captured, V realizes that if he doesn't find a way to power the stone, he'll be killed. A few hours earlier, V refuses to leave home for a school trip to the mountains to watch the solar eclipse. He's extremely scared of heights, and he says that going to the mountains would be very dangerous. However, his mom convinces him to go because there won't be another eclipse in a long time. She also says it would be a good way to get rid of his fear of heights. Following this, V decides to leave and meet his friend Vovchik so they can go for the trip together. Elsewhere, a shaman prays to the gods to show him where to find a rare stone with immense powers. As he then gets a response, he sees a symbol that matches the drawing at the back of V's sweater. Meanwhile, V and Vovchik join their classmates on the trip to the mountains. Before they get there, V complains about the fireworks Vovchik kept in his bag, but his friend says they're for the post-eclipse celebrations. A while later, they get to a wooden bridge that leads to the mountain they'll be watching the eclipse from. As the teacher gets the students to cross the bridge with him, V looks nervous because he's really scared. While everyone gets to the other side, Vovchik tries to help V through the bridge, but he's too scared. He then eventually runs away, and his classmates laugh at him. V ends up sitting alone by a huge rock, but Vovchik soon joins him and tells him not to be bothered by what his classmates did. As he also plays around with his megaphone, the boys see that the solar eclipse is about to happen. Almost immediately, the ground starts vibrating, and as a part of it breaks, Vovchik falls, but he's able to hold on to avoid going down a ditch. He begs V to help him, but his friend is too scared of heights to even get close to him. Before he can react, though, a hole appears behind V and sucks him in along with Vovchik's megaphone. He then lands in the middle of a forest. As he looks around, he sees a man named Oleshko picking some flowers before he's attacked by some men from a tribe called Cumans. Oleshko fights quite well, but as he tries to escape, the leader of the Cumans, Ondako, shows up. As Ondako and his men then overpower Oleshko, V slips and falls from where he's hiding, so this distracts the soldiers. Before Ondako and his men catch V, Oleshko escapes from their grasp and takes the young boy with him on his horse to a place called Remive. When he gets there, everyone looks shocked to see V, who is already passed out. Some elders also approach Oleshko and ask where he saw V. He then explains what happened and how V saved his life. One of the men finally pours water on V so he can wake up. As he does, he asks where he is and who they are, but they think he's talking funny. One of the men says he might be a spy, but before they do anything to him, a man named Ovsi tells them to keep in a cage first. Elsewhere, the shaman is praying to the gods when Ondako enters his shrine. He asks why Ondako didn't bring back anyone from Remive, but he says someone strange suddenly appeared. The shaman shows him the symbol he got from the gods, and Ondako confirms that V had the same sign on his sweater. The shaman then looks happy as he tells Ondako that the gods have finally sent them someone that will give them infinite powers. Meanwhile, a girl named Olenka comes over to give V some milk in his cage. He asks her where they are, and she says it's a stronghold called Remive, because it sounds ancient. V asks what year it is, and Olenka says it's 1120 AD. This leaves V shocked, and as Olenka asks if he's really a spy, Oleshko shows up. As Olenka leaves immediately, Oleshko thanks V for saving him. He also adds that V doesn't have to worry about anything as long as he passes a test to confirm that he's not a spy. The next day, V is then thrown into a river as part of the test. While he's inside, he sees a strange creature that suddenly throws him back out. Following this, it is announced that V passed the test because he didn't drown. As he then sits with Oleshko, Ovsi, and two other soldiers named Ilko and Obrinia, V tells them that he's from a different time entirely. They don't seem to believe him, and he shows them the megaphone as proof that he's from the future. They still have doubts about him, but Ilko tells Oleshko to take V to stay at his sister Milanka's place for the meantime. Oleshko is very happy to do this because he wants to use the opportunity to see Milanka's daughter, Rosanka. As they get to the house, Milanka happily accepts V, and she also informs Oleshko to invite Ilko and the others for dinner that night. When it's time for dinner, Ovsi mentions that after he spoke with their gods, he learned that V is saying the truth. He also adds that V won't be able to go back in the same way he came unless there's another eclipse that creates a hole in the rock. However, Oleshko says he doesn't need the eclipse because a group of people called Magus are capable of finding a way to open the hole. V says he'd like to meet the Magus, but Ilko says he can't leave because the Cumans are everywhere. V looks disappointed by this, but he says nothing. The next day, though, he asks Oleshko about the Magus people again. However, Oleshko tells him not to worry because he might not pass their test of sword, arrow, and mind. V says he's ready to learn, and Oleshko says he'll teach him all he needs to know. Before they start their training, V sees a guy named Tarin inside a cage. Oleshko then says he's a Cuman who was taken as a hostage a while ago. Shortly after, they begin their training, and V learns quite fast. Shortly after, V completes his training, and Oleshko gives him a map showing where he can find the Magus. Elsewhere, Ondako's shaman sends a raven to find V. Coincidentally, V is already out to find the Magus. On his way, he sees Olenka and convinces her to come with him since he doesn't know the area too well. She agrees to help him, and after a while they get to the location on the map. As V wonders where to go next, he suddenly gets taken to another realm where he only hears the voice of the Magus leader. The voice asks what he wants, and he says he wants to find a way to go home without waiting for the eclipse. The voice says he can't get the information for free, and V then says he's ready to be tested. Parts of the ground then break off, after which V is asked to mention his biggest fear. After V says it's his fear of heights, the voice tells him that there's a powerful stone that can transport people through centuries. He tells V to find it in a place where the wingless make their nests. He also tells V that he'll find the stone by following the wind. V takes note of the instructions, but the voice then adds another one, saying that the stone can only be activated by someone who can touch others with his heart. He also tells V to be careful because evil people could be after him. Following this, V meets with Olenka again, and he tells her that he has already met the Magus leader, as they then sit to decode everything he was told. She mentions that the place where the wingless make their nests should be a place called Stork Village. Olenka leads him there, and as he sees the place, she tells him that the people there are very nice. Not long after, V sets up a kite so that the wind will lead him to where the stone is. As he then follows the wind, he ends up landing inside a river, but he eventually finds the stone. However, the shaman's raven sees this and alerts him immediately. Before V and Olenka can leave, the Cumans storm the village and fight the residents even though they don't fight back. The people from Remive see this from their tower, and they immediately run to Stork to help fight the Cumans. The Remive people do a very good job, with Ilko and Dobrinia also rescuing V and Olenka before taking down some soldiers. Shortly after, they return to Remive, but Offsai gets angry at Olenka for leaving the village without telling anyone. As he talks about punishing her, he also blames V and says that he hopes the stone can take him back home. However, when they get to the rock he came through, he inserts the stone, but it doesn't work. Offsai also tries to help him, but he's also unable to get it to work. V says the Magus leader said something about connecting hearts, but Offsai says he doesn't understand. With this, he agrees to take V back to the village. Elsewhere, Ondako gets angry when he hears that his men didn't get the stone. He then accuses the shaman of setting him up to lose his men. However, the shaman says his raven saw the stone with V at Stork Island. As Ondako still seems angry, the shaman offers to help him get the stone by himself. Elsewhere, V tries to talk to Olenka while she's serving her punishment, but she doesn't respond to him. He then goes to beg Offsai to forgive her, but the old man says she needs to learn her lesson. V then sees Offsai designing a plane, and he advises the old man on how to get it to work well. Offsai is immediately impressed by this, and he allows V to help him with designing the plane. After a while, Oleshko comes in to tell Offsai that Ilko needs his attention. When he gets outside, Ilko tells him that one of the Cumans that was arrested earlier has confessed that they went to Stork Village to find the powerful stone. He adds that if Ondako and his people are after it, then they must be up to no good. Offsai then suggests hiding the stone at the top of a really tall tower. V looks scared as he's about to climb the tower, but Offsai tells him to imagine his friends are climbing with him. Despite still being scared, V manages to get on a raft that takes him and Offsai to the top of the tower where they hide the stone. Later that night, while V and Olenka are talking, rain starts falling, and Tarin looks uncomfortable in his cage. V then covers the cage with a big blanket to stop the rain and some white balls from falling on Tarin, who looks relieved but says nothing. The next day, Tuharin escapes from his cage and returns to the Cumans. While he's enjoying a feast on his return, Andako enters the house and looks shocked to see his brother finally back home. Even though Tuharin is excited to see his brother, Andako just tells his men to take him away to freshen up. As Andako then complains about having a bad day, the shaman sees the powerful stone inside the house. It then turns out that Tuharin stole the stone before he left Remive. Elsewhere, Ovsi tells Oleshko and V that the precious stone has been stolen. As they wonder what to do next, Oleshko suggests stealing it back from the Cumans. Ovsi thinks it's a good idea, but he says they must do it discreetly. He then suggests finishing up with the plane he's inventing to help humans fly. Following this, he and V begin work on the plane. After they complete it, Ovsi says the only thing left is to paint it with mud. He then tells V that he and Olenka will go out to get the mud they need. Elsewhere, Andako and the shaman try to power up the stone, but it doesn't work. The shaman then says that V is likely the only one who can power it because he was the one who found it. The next day, Ovsi and Olenka go out as planned, but they're suddenly ambushed by Cumans. Ovsi fights them, but they're too powerful for him, and one of the soldiers eventually stabs him. Since Olenka is also wearing V's sweater, they think she's the one who found the stone, so they take her away. When Ovsi returns to Remive, he's already too weak, and he tells his people that Andako's men have taken Olenka. As they try to save him, he tells them not to do so because he feels it's his time to die. He says his only regret is to not be able to see people fly with his invention. He also advises V to overcome his fear of heights, after which he dies. Meanwhile, Olenka is taken to meet Andako, but as he realizes that his men brought the wrong person, he beats them up. He also knocks out Olenka and gets her tied up outside. Elsewhere, V gets tired of sitting around and doing nothing, so he goes to the Cumans to surrender. As he's reunited with Olenka, he tells her that he has a plan. Shortly after, the shaman gives him the rock to fill it with his power. V says he needs his bag, and as the shaman looks inside, he only sees fireworks there. He doesn't know what they are, so he just allows V to take his bag. V then claims that he can do magic. However, he lights up the fireworks and throws them into the crowd. This creates a distraction for him, but as he's about to escape with Olenka and the stone, Andako stops him. He then tells V that if he doesn't get the stone powered up, he'll kill Olenka. He also promises not to kill them if V can get the stone to work. V immediately collects the stone, but he's unable to get it to work. However, just before Andako harms Olenka, V comes up with an idea. He remembers what the Magus leader said about his heart, so he tells Olenka to touch the stone with him. Since they're in love, the stone powers up, and the shaman takes it away from them. Andako then says that since he promised not to kill them, he'd get Tuharin to do it. While he and the shaman then fully unlock the stone's powers, Tuharin is tasked with killing V and Olenka. However, he refuses to do it, and he helps them escape instead. When Andako returns, though, he doesn't like this, so he kills his brother. The next day, V and Olenka see Oleshko, Ilko, and Dobrinia on their way back to Remive. When they get home, V says the Cumans already have the stone and that they're planning something big. Ilko and Dobrinia then decide to start making defense plans in case of an imminent attack. The following day, Andako leads his men to Remive. Ilko and Dobrinia remain behind the walls as they then watch the shaman controlling a huge stone warrior, which was created with the powerful stone. As the stone warrior gets closer to Remive, Oleshko gets his soldiers to shoot flaming rocks at him, but nothing seems to bring him down. Oleshko then sees a nearby river and comes up with a plan. He rides his horse near the stone warrior and starts taunting him to get close to the river. Everyone in Remive is shocked. They believe he has a plan. After a while, Oleshko's plan works, but he also falls into the river with the stone warrior. Rosanka and some other soldiers immediately run to check him, but they realize that he might be dead already. As they then mourn his loss, Oleshko swims out of the water, and they're all happy again. Just then, they notice that the eclipse is happening again. Malanka immediately tells V to leave, so he can get to the rock that will take him back home. V asks about the Cumans, but Malanka says the Remive soldiers will deal with them. As he's then leaving, Olenka doesn't look happy because she won't see him again. Just then, Andako leads his men to attack Remive, but Oleshko and the others fight back. However, the shaman suddenly brings the stone warrior out of the river. The people in Remive are shocked by this, but before the stone warrior attacks them, V returns and says he has a plan. He then goes to the tower to get Ovsi's flying machine. As he takes it for a spin, he almost falls, but he's able to fly back up to show that the machine works. He also appears to have gotten rid of his fear of heights, and this makes him happy. While he's then flying towards where the shaman is, the stone warrior almost kills Olenka. However, Oleshko is there to protect her. As the stone warrior then prepares a final blow to kill them, V knocks down the shaman. This stops the stone warrior from working anymore since no one is controlling him again. V then takes the glowing stone, but before he heads down, Andako shows up and asks for it. Instead of giving it up, V throws the stone into the river, and this helps destroy the stone warrior. Before Andako can then attack V, Oleshko shows up and defends him. As they fight, Oleshko beats him until he falls down a cliff and dies. Oleshko and V are happy about this, but they then see that the eclipse is getting closer. Immediately, Oleshko takes V to the portal that will take him home. Before he leaves, V is about to tell Oleshko something to help him tell Olenka, but she then shows up. They confess their feelings for each other, and Olenka says she'll always wait for him, even though he may never come back. However, V says he'll be back. Just then, he returns to his world, and as Vovchik is about to fall, V saves him. The two boys look relieved, and V narrates everything that happened to him before he finally saved his friend. Vovchik doesn't seem to believe it. They both joke about it. All their classmates then clap for V after they watched him save Vovchik. A year later, V starts doing a research to find a way to return to Remive to meet Olenka. He only ends up finding a rock that looks like the powerful stone he threw away. However, as he touches it, he doesn't know that Olenka is also touching a replica in Remive. Thanks for watching. What did you think about V's journey through time? Would you have made different choices in his place? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the recap, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more movie recaps and fun discussions.